Hi, I'm Louise Tribe with the Charlotte New Home Link. We are here today at Superior School of Real Estate to learn more about the Charlotte area new home construction. My special speaker is Chuck Graham of Newton Home Consultants.
Carolina Lakes is the only neighborhood that dominated 2 quintiles. I mean, can you imagine a single location, a single builder controlling 40% of the entire marketplace from a neighborhood position? And yes, it's age-targeted active adult. Another kind of interesting thing happening out there, okay? Then, yes. You're right, thank you. And what's interesting, if you think about Pulte's acquisition of Del Webb, prior to that, all Del Webb was age restricted, and it was all in resort locations. And so Pulte thought, most people are not going to move to a resort. They are going to want to live where they've always lived. Their family is there, their connections are there, but no builder is doing appropriate product in real markets. So Pulte basically takes the Del Webb product positioning and puts it in the real world. An incredible coup for them to have figured out, because they know the real world, they didn't know the resort world, and Del Webb knew the active adult in the resort world, a real strategic kind of decision. What's really interesting is Pulte is now doing multi-generational, age-targeted, large PUDs that have a section of age-restricted, but the rest of it is age-targeted, or I don't really care who you are. If you want to buy my house, I would be happy to sell it to you, okay?
I also wanted to say, for those who might not be familiar with who Del Webb is, that's Sun City. Most people have heard of Sun Cities, and that's who Del Webb is, which is part of the Pulte group.
Right. Let's look at some more quintile 5 stuff up here. Let's see, the second strongest position is Curitan. Union County is a very powerful location for quintile 5, so we see quite a bit of that there. So you see here, Curitan, Ryland's position there. Again, you see Ryland only ranked 7th within quintile 5, and yet because they're in Curitan, the location overpowered their position. That's not the strongest piece of their market, but because they have that location, it plays. You'll also see the Union County portion of the South Growth Corridor was the leading geographic submarket within quintile 5. So that allowed the 7th greatest builder to have a strong position because they were there. Another interesting one, here we have Christenbury Village, Pulte. That was only the 5th strongest location within quintile 5, but Pulte is the leading builder because of Carolina Lakes, and they are producing some ranches at Christenbury Village. There's a huge shortage of ranch floor plans in the marketplace. Then we have Springfield, a nice strong weekly position, okay? And here we are in the York County position of the Southwest Growth Corridor, only ranks 4th, but weekly the 3rd strongest. But you begin to see the mix of builder strength versus locational mix and how it plays out. Do you think your client would be impressed with you when you pulled this little exhibit out and had this little discussion about where we're going to go and who the builder is and why we ought to be there? I think you're going to have absolute control of that client, whether they buy new or existing, okay? Let's see what else might pop here. Oh, another very powerful position is Lawson. Lennar bought Lawson from BB&T out of one of my clients, Pace, who had incredible difficulty during the recession, but a glorious property. I mean, it doesn't get much better than Lawson from an appearance perspective. And, that position leads quintile 3. And, what's interesting, when we were selling it under pace, you couldn't buy a house in quintile 3. So, Lennar goes out and buys it at a discount, and it was already strong, repositioned, well, it used to be this quintile, and now it's this quintile. Why wouldn't I buy there? So lots of good information here. I think very impressive information for your clients, that they know you know as much about the new home market as you know about the existing home market, okay? Let's look down here. Market shares. Now, what we need to realize is these are single properties that control 22% of the market, 3% of it controlled by Carolina Lakes. These are really incredible positions in the marketplace in order to capture 22% of all 7,500 units in basically, let's see, we've got 14 neighborhoods control 22% of the entire marketplace. Wow. Very interesting. And again, you will see that the share kind of fluctuates, but by quintile, you're in the 15 or 16% control of the overall marketplace, okay? All right. Then the third exhibit that will always be on the link is not this one, but the one that follows this one. And this is kind of the locational exhibit. And this is how I divide the marketplace up by location. So it's interestingly, Charlotte is one of the few markets in the United States that is almost developed in 360 degrees. Many markets are very prejudiced about geography. And of course, Charlotte has its prejudices as well. If it's high end, it's either going to be north or south. It's not going to be east or west. But we still have fairly strong positions east and west versus north and south. And most markets you go to are not as diversified, geographically speaking, as Charlotte is, okay? So over here we have what I call the North Growth Corridor. And as you might imagine, that's north of the central part of town. And the North Growth Corridor first includes the North Planning Analysis area of Mecklenburg County, which is this little piece of Mecklenburg County here. And it also includes two townships within Lincoln County, Ironton and Catawba Springs. And it also includes two townships in Iredell County, Davidson and Cottle Creek. So this outline is what we define as the North Growth Corridor. It includes parts of Mecklenburg County, parts of Iredell County, and parts of Lincoln County, okay? If you move down here to the Southeast Growth Corridor, the Northeast Growth Corridor, again, includes the Northeast Growth Corridor of Mecklenburg County and 4 townships within Cabarrus County. The Southeast Growth Corridor includes the Southeast Planning Analysis area of Mecklenburg County and 3 townships of Union County. The South Growth Corridor includes the South Planning Analysis area of Mecklenburg County and 2 townships within Union County. As you might imagine, that dividing line is, kind of Independence Boulevard. And really it's Monroe Road. And really it's a little bit, between Providence Road and Monroe, that corridor. There's a little squiggly line about one does not cross that line if one wants to sell a house over $350,000. So that dividing line in Union County is attempted to kind of reflect those prejudices about Union County and where you might be by price points. And then we have the Southwest Growth Corridor, which includes the Southwest Planning Analysis of Mecklenburg County, and these two townships in York County, Fort Mill and Ebenezer. Then we have the Northwest Growth Corridor, the northwest portion, and the Southwest also includes these two townships in Gaston County. Again, I-85, kind of the dividing line as you move into Gaston as to what's happening on one side versus the other side. And then finally, we have the Northwest Growth Corridor, which includes this portion of Mecklenburg County, and the two townships in Gaston County above I-85. So you get a feeling of the geographic submarkets, and what I would tell you is that 90% of all the closings within these 8 counties happen within that geography. If you're dealing with this stuff out here, that's all the naive land development that happened before 2006. That's where 30,000 lots are that will never, ever have a house on them. Okay? So it is prejudiced, but it's prejudiced about where the marketplace is. People aren't going to go beyond the county seat in the surrounding counties yet, okay? Maybe I'll be dead by the time I think that might happen, but it does kind of focus you on the geography and what happens. So this is the third exhibit that I will give to you every quarter, which is the geographic segmentation of the marketplace. And the little boxes tell you where the strength is. So again, you'll see it's sorted by quintiles. And these are shares of the total market rather than shares of the quintile. The other exhibits I was giving you were share of a quintile. So like if you want to do this, by quintile, you simply multiply any of these numbers by 5, okay? So if you're looking down here in the 5th quintile, you see the Union County portion of the South Growth Corridor leads with about 20%, 5 times 4 point, let's say about 25% of all new home closings over $350,000 happen in the Union County portion of the South Growth Corridor. And if you remember, those are these two townships, Sandy Ridge and Jackson. Here's Lancaster 1, which is also within that South Growth Corridor, where we have Pulte at Carolina Lakes, okay? Let's look at what is the leading geographic submarket in the entire 8 counties. It is the Lancaster County portion of the South Growth Corridor. Part of it is the 250 closings that Carolina Lakes has. But because of that surge, it's certainly a place to look and play. John Wieland has great success down there. And quite amazing because poor schools.
They're better now.
They're much better.
They may have got awards this year, last year.
Poor schools. A perfect place for age-restricted. I mean, what do I care about the schools? But when John Wieland went down there, they were not as good as they are now. And, people have different perceptions. Am I going to educate my kids, or do I want to live in a fine master bedroom, or do I want a fine master bedroom and to hell with it? No, they don't really think about it quite that way. But, we have different people reacting to education versus the house I'm going to live in. So, yes.
One question, please. Point to the Highway 16 growth corridor in that chart.
Okay, well, Highway 16 divides Union County into basically 2 pieces. So part of it is down here in southeast. The Union County.
Northwest Highway 16 growth corridor. West side of Lake Norman.
Oh, okay, well, that's basically Lincoln County. Okay. You want to go that far north to Lincoln or Gaston?
Which number on that chart?
Okay. Well, if we look here in northwest, There's a portion here of Mecklenburg and Gaston. If you look at north, the Lincoln County portion shows up. So if you're looking at Lincoln County, you know, what's interesting, way down here you have the totals. Lincoln County is the worst, it has only 1.19% of all the new home closings in the marketplace. Now, interestingly, Pulte shopped in Lincoln for Carolina Lakes before they chose Lancaster. And you know, they're out searching again for the replacement of Carolina Lakes. Yes.
One thing about Carolina Lakes too, I was out there a couple of weeks ago, and they said they only have 64 more lots.
More lots?
available, and they'll be there for 2 years and they're gone.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you look at 250 and 64, they better be shopping.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So did I answer your, I don't know whether I answered your geography question.
You did.
Okay, okay. Then, okay, we have, as you might imagine, the Mecklenburg County of the Northwest Growth Corridor is 55% of all new homes sold below $140,000. I mean, that's what that corridor is, and that's why that corridor has had so much trouble, because of homes being built and sold to people who really should not have been buying homes. That's what all that trouble is. So again, you have your client in the door. Let's say they're moving to town. They have no feeling about the geographic prejudices of the marketplace. What a great place to show them what the geographic prejudices are. Hey, my company is transferring me here. I'm only going to be here 2 years. I better make sure I'm in the right geographic submarket, because I'm going to have to sell my house quickly. I might like this thing over here, but it doesn't have the position in the marketplace that I need to make this play for me. So I guess in summarize, Louise and I are here to make you sell more new homes. And the sneaky way that we're going to make you sell new homes is with these 3 exhibits, okay? And our perspective is, if you know the new home market, and most of your clients are going to ask you about it, and if you have wonderful knowledge about the new home market, you might just sell a few more new homes, okay? I clearly understand that most of your business is existing homes. And clearly you're not going to stop doing that. But I do think every client wants to see the new home market, and you must be knowledgeable of it. And so while you're trying to protect your client, you ultimately can't help but sell a few more new houses for the new house marketplace, okay?